So when we were back in middle school, we did something a little unusual, I would think.
We juggled.
Yeah.
We were jugglers.
And
this is the way we got all the chicks. Remember?
Yeah.
This is the way
not
we
a way to
didn't
get
all the
girls.
chicks.
But we took drama with Mr. Ellington, and when you take that in middle school, when you took this class, you had to learn how to juggle as a requirement. But you just had to learn basic 3-ball juggling.
By the way, which if you know somebody knows how to teach you, just about anybody can learn who is a physically able person.
Unless your name is Robin.
Robin, yes. Robin Perry.
Yeah.
Wonder what ever happened.
She's a friend of mine on Facebook.
Oh, is she? Say hi to her. Wonder if she ever learned to juggle. Probably doesn't care.
She's the only one I ever met that could not learn.
Yeah, she just couldn't learn for whatever reason.
You, me, and Jimmy Klein, a mutual friend, 3 of us kind of took it to a whole new level. We continued on past just basic 3-ball juggling.
Definitely.
We got into clubs and then club passing and rings and
4 balls and stuff.
4 balls.
Yeah.
You did 5 balls and you were like the star student.
Till Jeff came around. Bastard.
Jeff
Couturier.
Oh.
If you're listening to this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You stole my juggling thunder. Just kidding.
I forgot about that. I forgot about your nemesis.
He was my juggling nemesis. So dumb.
I forgot about that.
And then the funny part, too, is in high school, I got into tennis. I got into tennis really big, and I was, like, really good at tennis. And then when we go to play Rockledge High, there's Jeff kicking everyone's ass in tennis. I'm like, God dang. It's funny how I didn't put the two of those together till just now. All right, continue on.
Well, I remember every year we did, like, the parade or whatever it was. Some parade we did.
Yeah. With,
like, the middle school band. And then us, like, juggling behind them. Back in my first parade, all I knew was balls. So, like, I hadn't quite graduated to clubs yet at the time. And so juggling 3 balls in a parade is just a bad idea. Because you're going to have drops. And, like, I don't know if you're aware of this, but, like, balls roll.
Really?
So I'm, like, having to chase this ball around the street. And this one time I dropped it and I was like, oh, shoot, and I went down to get it, but I accidentally kicked it and I went, bing, like all the way down the street. And I was like, oh, no.
Remember when we used to go to the old people's home, like the nursing home?
Yeah, Sunny Pines or nursing home.
Yeah,
or whatever
how did you even remember the name of it?
I don't know, just because it sounds like a nursing home, just the name.
I hated that.
Why?
I don't know, you're just looking at all these people thinking, I'm going to juggle for them, and this will probably be the last thing they ever see.
You're listening to Your 40. Now what? Getting closer to early bird dinners, but still not quite ready to grow up. So hike up your pants, sip your latte, and get ready for the show. And now, the hosts of Your 40, Now What? Tach and Ron.
That's so bad.
I know.
You're so bad, Ron.
I know. It was just uncomfortable. I don't know why. This doesn't exactly smell good in a nursing home either.
And they're like drooling all over the clubs, and every time you would throw a club in the air, they'd all go, ah!
Yeah.
That was all gonna hit
they
them.
never
Well,
would
I don't
remember
know.
anything specific you do. They just remember, jugglers, they're the cute kids. All right, welcome to Your 40 Now What? I am your host, Ron Canniff, and with me is...
Tach Van Sickle. That is me.
All right, I don't remember the exact line you always use to describe our show, but mostly it's the pitfalls, perils, and lighter side of turning and being 40 or 40 plus in our case.
Yeah.
Even though you say that you're not really in your 40s until you're 41, yet if you're 40 years old, you're not in your 30s, so what the fuck are you?
You're 40.
You're just 40.
That's it. You're
Whatever.
just 40.
I don't like that you had such a quick answer for that bastard. You're supposed to be like, I don't know, and I'm supposed to sound smart. You ruined that whole thing for me. All right.
Sorry, buddy.
So what are we going to talk about today, buddy?
Let's see. So today, Well, I mean, I can discuss like, for instance, on Sunday, my girlfriend and I went to EPCOT for the day. And have you been to EPCOT recently, or?
If 1983 was recently, then yes.
No, is it really? What?
Yeah, it's been since the mid 80s somewhere that I've been to
any
Epcot.
Disney park?
Oh yeah, I've been to other Disney parks. Now it's probably been 7-8 years since I've been to Disney park. I've been a fan of Universal. Just enjoy Universal more. But it's been since Epcot. It's been the 80s. I was a small child.
Because you just don't have any interest in Epcot?
Mostly, yes. I have zero interest in Epcot.
How do you know if you haven't been there since 1983?
I probably would enjoy it. I mean, it'd be something new, but I just haven't thought about going. It's just not something me and my wife get together. Hey, let's go to Epcot. I don't know.
Well, okay. The reason why we went is because, well, recently her and my son went to Disney. We did the whole park hopper and went to all the parks and stuff like that. Probably a few months ago. And then we talked about how, hey, we should pick a day where you and I just come back and maybe just go to one park. And we both like to do amateur photography. And so maybe just bring our cameras.
Really? That's such an unusual hobby.
Is that a joke?
Yes. That was
You're mocking
That
me,
was pure sarcasm right there, brother. Now
Well,
continue on.
I don't mean like with our cell phones. It's not like that. We actually have legit cameras, with multiple lenses.
Again, even more rare. Continue on.
It's a fun hobby.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Obviously, 800 million people do it
Yes.
in the United States alone.
I don't understand the problem here.
I
What's
have
the
no problem. I was just being sarcastic. I'm just making a joke that a lot of people like photography. That's all. That's all I was saying. I wasn't.
All right.
I wasn't knocking it. I wasn't like making fun of you for it. I was just making a little joke. You got all sensitive about it
No, I'm
and
not
started
I don't
probing
care.
into what I meant by that.
Well, yeah, I just want to hear what your thoughts on it. That's all.
My thoughts are a lot of people are into photography. That was literally where it ends.
Okay. Anywho, it's a good time. I didn't think I'd be into it as much as I was, but until you start doing it, and it's actually a lot of fun. But anyway, we went there with the purpose of bringing our cameras, our camera equipment, just taking pictures of just anything and everything you can find. I don't mean like, hey, there's Mickey over there. I don't mean that. I mean even that for that weekend. Well, it was longer than just the weekend, but they had the Flower and Garden Festival going on, so they had a lot of extra things there as far as flowers and gardens. And
So, if I may interrupt 2 seconds, I'm sorry. So, when the Flower and Garden Festival is the highlight of what goes on in Epcot, now you know I haven't been there since the friggin' 80s. Continue on.
No, like if you had gone there, you would never even know there's a Flower and Garden Festival going on, except the signs everywhere saying Flower and Garden Festival. Okay. You would just assume that all this flower and gardening stuff is just normal at Epcot.
Gotcha.
So, anywho. So we went there to take pictures and just kind of enjoy the day and go slow, and not having to run around and worry about jumping on to the next park and hitting this ride and standing in line for 2.5 hours and going. We didn't have to worry about that. We were just going to go there, stroll through the place, take pictures, and just eat. Because there's like a billion restaurants there.
Hell yeah.
And but eat small things from a lot of different places. That was our goal, and that's what we did. And it was tons of fun. And we were there for like 13 hours. We got there right when it opened and left when it closed, And, but I don't know about you, but like I have special shorts I wear for theme parks.
Yeah,
because of,
I don't have special
diaper
shorts, but I
rash
know I could probably understand why.
Yeah. Chafage issues,
Swamp
so I wear
ass,
like,
yes, and
yeah,
whatnot.
so I wear like these, like the spandex bicycle shorts,
Yes.
I wear that as my underwear or whatever. And then I wear normal shorts over it. I don't walk around in the spandex shorts. I wear my normal shorts over it. So, and then I also wear like running shoes as well, which actually that's a new thing I just started doing. And it's in shorts and then a nice light t-shirt. And then of course I burn easily, so I have to put on like a gallon of sunscreen like every 20 minutes. So just so I don't stress out and worry about getting a sunburn, which I did not get sunburn, which is good.
Yeah, but you got some sun on your neck there. Is that just from work?
This is from work / mostly work.
Gotcha.
Mostly, yeah. But I thought it was going to be like exhausted by which, I was, but not like, because I looked at my phone. Your phone counts your steps and stuff like that. We did like almost 10 miles that day, and which is great for like working off all that food that we were eating. And
you can count your steps on your phone?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
You go into, well, this is for iPhone people only. I know you're an iPhone person, which is good. Like, your health app. Right there with the heart. Where is it? There it is with the heart right there.
Don't see it, but I might have moved it somewhere.
Yeah, just search health. And it's just a white box with a heart in it.
Okay. So it's in there somewhere. I don't see that.
It's in there.
There it is.
But you also have to, I think, connect it with something else. But anyway,
forget all that.
It shows up like this. It shows up like all your steps, kind of calories burned. If you did any kind of an incline, it knows it, and it'll tell you how many, quote, floors you went up and down or whatever.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so your goal is like, to hit 10,000 steps every day, which you probably do that at your job. I know I did it when I was in food service for sure. I probably did a little more than that every day. My average is probably about 3 to 4 miles every day at work. So as long as you have your phone in your pocket, it's counting every step you're taking. It keeps up with like how many calories you're burning. Anyway, so that day it was like over almost 10 miles, and it was good. Lots of calories burned. That's one thing I'm concerned about. And I've had days where I was just exhausted and couldn't walk anymore from being like at a theme park. And sure, it was earlier in the evening where I was like, I'm ready to go home. But
yeah.
I'm glad I stuck it out because I got my second wind and all that. And that day was devoted to relaxing.
Well,
if you wanted to sit out.
It was a few days ago you said you did this, right?
This was Sunday.
So it was pretty damn hot too. I mean, it wasn't cool out, so the heat will definitely get to you, especially at our age.
Mm-hmm. So we do. We also find a place and sit down for a few too, to kind of cool off. But it was fun. I mean, I don't know do you find yourself like that at Universal too? Like when you go to a theme park by like early evening or like 5 o'clock, you're like, I'm ready to go home. I'm just exhausted. Or
I'm generally done by 4.
Yeah.
If it's summertime. Now, again, if I go only a few times have just me and my wife gone to a theme park. That's only happened a couple times. I can go a lot longer because we're not, like you said, we're not like running around as much. The pace is a lot calmer and chiller, and we're just kind of chilling. So I can kind of go all day that way. But if it's with the kids, we're trying to get to a bunch of rides, we're trying to do a bunch of things, I'm worn out by 3 or 4. Oh, and I'll push past it, but I'm ready to go home by 3 or 4.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing I really liked about the day too. It was slow paced, and we weren't in a hurry to go anywhere, to be anywhere. It was like, hey, I want to stop in this little shop that I've never been into, but I've always seen. Mm-hmm. And we're like, okay. And we just go in there and we'll look around for a few or whatever, and then come out and like, hey, I want to stand here and try to get a good picture of this. That's going to take maybe 10 full minutes. I'm like, cool. That's why we're here. Why not?
See, I've been to just Universal with just the kids individually too. I've been with just Logan, my son, and I've been with just Chelsea. So when I go with just Logan, he wants to hit every roller coaster. And I found that the older I'm getting, the harder roller coasters are on my equilibrium. I've been having more kind of equilibrium issues, and I get off of them and I feel just like I absolutely just want to die. And that's gotten worse and worse and worse over, say, the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, which kind of sucks. Now, Chelsea, she doesn't do roller coasters. She wants to do rides, but not roller coasters. And she also likes to really take her time and look at everything. Mm-hmm. So she's a huge Harry Potter fan. She's a Potterhead. And so we'll go to the little Harry Potter areas in like Diagon Alley. And she'll literally, like, we went there one time when we were on vacation. I took just her because Logan and Jackie didn't want to go. They wanted to stay at the hotel, stay in the Lazy River. So I said, hey, we're going to go check out Diagon Alley. We were there like 4 or 5 hours. Mm-hmm. Just nice pace, checking out every little nook and cranny. We found some little back alley stuff that they had in there we didn't even know about. Yeah. And we went to this little restaurant that was like, Harry Potter and all that. It was so cool, dude. But I'll get totally worn out when it's me, my wife, and the kids. I mean, absolutely spent by 3, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Which is really sad because it's open at 9? So what's that? 6 hours and I'm toast. But man, sometimes it's 6 hours out in the heat. When it's 90 plus degrees out in Florida and you're walking around in that stuff and you're not used to it, I guess that would do just about anybody in.
Well, the beauty of it for us is that we just live like just under an hour from there, so it's not a big deal. But there's people that come from all over the world, you know, and having like you need to spend at least 3 days just for Disney alone.
Me and my wife talk about that. I never like to go to a theme park if I don't have some kind of passes where I know I can go multiple times, or I don't like to feel the pressure of I bought a 1-day ticket that costs God knows how much money.
Yeah.
And that means I need to be there the minute it opens and stay till the last second it closes, and then I'm going to want to pass out. So I don't like that pressure. My wife's the same way. We just cannot stand that. We have to have some kind of passes, at least a couple of days, something, to know that we don't have to try and kill ourselves to be there because we only have a 1-day pass.
Yeah.
Unless somebody gave me the pass, then it's a different story. If somebody else bought it. But if it's my money, I got to get it. I got to get all the money out of there.
Yeah. But I enjoy it. I enjoy going.
Good deal. What else did you do at EPCOT besides, just so I know, besides Flower and Garden Festival and eating little bits of food here and there? Are there even any rides at EPCOT?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some couple really good ones. There's one called Mission Space, which is fucking intense. It's so awesome.
How long has that ride been there? Because that sounds familiar.
I don't know. I think when I first rode it was probably 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
But it's fucking intense and it's awesome. Basically, the premise is you're going like on a rocket to Mars, and you fucking feel like you are on a rocket to Mars. Like, it's fucking awesome. Like, you get in a capsule. If you're claustrophobic, don't get on this ride because they seal you in a capsule and you're tight. Like, you're sealed up against this chair, strapped in for a reason, and then they bring this whole like panel to your face to where it's like this close to your face. And if you're claustrophobic and you got 3 other people in there, and it's cool because everybody has like, it's like you're in a capsule, like a whole control panel in front of you, and everybody has their little job they're supposed to do on the mission. It's like somebody might be pilot, somebody might be navigator, somebody, you know, and everybody has certain functions they have to do on the ride, you know.
Okay.
And to make it a successful mission. And so like when you get in it, like as soon as you get in, the ride starts, you tilt back as if like you're in a rocket getting ready to shoot straight up, or like a space shuttle kind of a thing. And then you see out the window of like the launch pad. And then as soon as it takes off, like it's just boom, like you feel it, like it's like a centrifuge, you know. And so you feel like the G forces, whoa, and you're like, and it's loud, it's, you know, and then it's cool as shit. And then once you get into space, then you get that feeling. The way they tilt the cabin and it's spinning, it actually feels like you're weightless, because it's like,
really, that's cool.
This is weird, you know. It's just kind of, it's weird. And then it's like the one guy has to hit like the booster rocket, and then you hit the booster rocket, and somebody goes boom. They have to push the button, and he goes boom, and then you just get thrown back in your chair, and this tone takes off, and it's fucking nuts. It's intense.
That's pretty cool. Do they still have the big giant gold golf ball?
Yeah, Spaceship Earth. Yeah,
it's good to see they're keeping updated with the times. Didn't they have
well,
that like 40
they actually
years
have.
ago?
I haven't been on it in a long time, but they actually have re-updated it. I haven't been on it since the update, but
I would hope so. I don't even remember. I know I went on it years ago. I mean, years and years ago, but I don't remember what it was even like.
Yeah, and they have another cool ride called Soarin', which I think is really cool. It's just like, remember the old Back to the Future ride?
Yeah, at Universal. That's now the Simpsons ride, by the way.
Yeah, it's similar to that, but it feels like you're on like this hang glider and you're like flying and shit. And it's pretty cool.
Word.
There's a few other cool little rides too. But,
cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, let's take a little break.
Yeah, let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some sad stuff.
Kind of. I certainly hope you have your affairs in order. Tease.
All right, we'll be back.
Infinite Points, blending the exotic and traditional art of fire performing with a modern and technical flair.
If you're planning an event and want your guests to have a visually stunning and memorable experience, bring the performance from Infinite Points to your venue.
It's scary, it's exciting, and it's certain to put you on the edge of your seat. This is truly fire performing at its finest. If fire spinning is too hot for your venue, they also perform with full LED props still bright enough to shine at your event.
If you want to get a hold of them, email them at booking@infinitepointsperforming.com or visit them online at www.infinitepointsperforming.com.
The performers at Infinite Points are professional and always encourage and adhere to safety. While what they do is amazing, they always remind you, don't try this at home.
And welcome back to Year 40 Now What? I'm still Tach. And over there is still Ron. Yeah, right.
I'm no longer Ron.
Shit. He doesn't identify as Ron anymore. Ron is a corporation. He is considered an individual.
Symbol formerly known as Ron.
Yeah, you're an agent of the one that is known as Ron Canniff. And an agent of Ron Canniff. These fucking bullshit sovereign citizens. Have you seen these videos of these people?
No, what is that?
I'm not going to go into it, but it's just, these are the people that get pulled over and go like, I don't have to show you my ID and all this kind of bullshit. And then they're like, I saw this one in court and the judge is like, are you Mike Johnson? Whatever his name was. And he's like, Mike Johnson is not present. He's like, then who are you? He's like, I am the individual, not the person known as Mike Johnson. He's like, what?
What the hell are you talking about, dude?
Of Mike Johnson?
This sounds like some millennial bullshit right here.
Yeah, but this is like an older guy. It was so dumb. And so the judge was like, okay, so you're the individual, the agent, but not the person. I'm not a person. Mike Johnson is a corporation, and I am the individual that's known as Mike Johnson. And he was like, whatever, dude.
Either way, you're going to jail. So, yeah, company, individual, agent, I don't give a crap.
He was being so good and just patronizing this guy and just like using his own words, just making sure he was addressing him properly, and all this kind of shit. It was very patronizing. It was awesome. But then he was like, at the end of it, he was like, either way, you're going to jail. The agent, the person, the individual, whoever you are, you're all going to jail.
All three of you are going to jail.
Yeah. Anyway. So welcome back to the show, and I hope you enjoyed that first segment. A little lighter, a little light fun. But now it's time to talk business. Time to get serious.
Let's get down to brass
The end
tacks.
is upon us. Yeah, the sky is falling. The end is near. What do we do?
Well, not necessarily. Like, pretty much what I'm saying is, if it's maybe for you individually or somebody individually.
Wait, the individual or the person? Sorry.
Oh, my God. Is 40, 41... whatever, 40s, is it too early to start thinking about having your affairs in order? Assuming you have no reason to specifically. I'm just speaking in generalities. Let's say you're a normal, healthy 40-something-year-old like you. Yeah. Not like me. Yeah. But like you. I'm just kidding. Let's say, but is it too early to start thinking about it, or should you just wait on that shit?
Now, it all depends on your situation. I mean, if you're like single and have no kids, you don't own any property, you're just like, oh, whatever. I wouldn't jump into it too much, but a lot of people say once you have kids and especially start owning property and stuff like that, then you should absolutely jump on it immediately. Like you're talking about like a will and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. A will, really a will. Yeah. Should you be doing that at this age? Is it morbid to even think about it? Think so? You think it'd be smart to do? It'd probably be smart to do at any age. Smart
for in your situation, for you personally, yeah, you should absolutely jump on it.
What are you trying to say? Like, I'm going to die soon, dude?
No, because like you own property, you have children, you have, all that stuff. You have a career, you're ready for like a will. Like, what am I going to leave?
You have a career, you have property, you're ready to die.
No, yeah, you're done. You have nothing else left to accomplsh.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's just going to happen anytime now.
No, like I used to have a will a while back. I don't anymore.
Wait, how do you have a will and then not have a will? How does that work?
Well, because like, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Are you sure that will still isn't like you're going to be given? You got all your stuff that you have is going to be given to some chick you were banging at like 21.
No.
Just face it.
I set it up when I was married to when I was married to this one woman,
some stripper and.
No.
In Jacksonville.
What am I going to get? My fucking guitar collection? What are the people going to get? That's worth like maybe $800.
You've got a motorcycle. You've got a car. You've got all your guitars and your bass guitar. You've got your Mac laptop. Got all your podcasting equipment. You've got that ratty ass couch behind you. Bitch, I want that couch.
All right, I'll leave you the couch. In fact, I'll write that on and post it. I mean, I have an art collection too. I gotcha, but I don't really have anything. I don't own a home. I don't, my car's 11 years old. It's nothing. It's not worth anything. My motorcycle is like 12, 13 years old. No shit. Yeah, 13 years old.
But accumulated altogether, you have stuff.
I guess.
Who's going to get it? Don't you want to make sure your kids get it or something?
I assumed that they just would.
You can't assume that, though. That's the thing.
Right.
They don't just.
Okay, that kind of shit. Where does all my shit go if I was to die today?
I'm not. See, that's the thing. I don't know. That's why I don't.
Well, I think it goes to an estate.
I want to take care of this shit.
Goes to the Tach Van Sickle estate is where it goes, along with my debts.
Oh yes,
which I really don't have any.
The Van Sickle estate.
I am here to discuss the Van Sickle estate. That sounds fancy, but it's not.
It does. This big will reading in this fancy lawyer office. Yeah. And for you, sir, you
these
get
high back leather chairs.
The 1982 broken down, fucked up motorcycle. For you, ma'am, you get.
like it's a fucking game show and people are seeing what prizes they won. Isn't it? Like my mother didn't have a will, but we had all of her shit like everywhere, and we were allowed to go in there and. I mean, of course we were allowed to get all of her stuff, and we took it. And the only thing that I had a problem with was her bank account. As soon as she passed away, the bank fucking smashed it. Which I didn't know they were going to do that so quickly, or else I would have pulled everything out of there.
You weren't attached to her bank account? You weren't like a name on it or anything? Okay.
No, I wasn't.
So what happened to that? What happened to that money? I mean, however much it was. 300, 400, or 500 grand?
It was like $1,000 that I missed out on.
Okay.
Which I really could have used, or especially my sister could have used to help pay for her final expenses, But other than that, as far as her personal things, we were allowed to get to and everything. Plus, I mean, I had a key to her apartment, so I mean, it's not like it was difficult. And so we went through all of her stuff. And
okay.
But I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I know that was probably a unique situation. Maybe I don't think it's always going to be like that or that easy because you may not have a key to your loved one's place, or something. But somebody's going to take control of it.
You just bust in that shit.
You're not allowed to get in there, huh?
So pretty much, I think what you're saying is, I agree with you now. The whole individual situation. If you have a lot of property, if you own stuff, if you even in your 40s, just have something there to be safe. I mean, you probably have some kind of life insurance. So obviously, you're not opposed to thinking about, hey, if something could happen, I want somebody to be taken care of or somebody to be helped out. Most people have some kind of life insurance policy, even if it's really small to their work.
Yeah.
But yet everybody freaks out about doing a will. Well, you're willing to pay money to have an insurance policy. You should be willing to at least write out some kind of basic will.
Yeah.
Even if it's like something typed up on a piece of paper and you have a notary notarize it or something.
Yeah.
Tell somebody, hey, the will is in blah, blah, blah. I think it's just... just good advice. Now, I don't have one, so I should take my own advice. But it was just something I was kind of recently thinking about.
Yeah, it's a good idea, especially, I mean, what are you going to be very specific in your will? Like, my son will get this, and this, and this, and my daughter will receive this? Or is it like kids can have everything, and then they figure it out?
It's a good question. Here's the thing. I have a wife, and I have smaller kids. But I have to consider, okay, so if I just pass away, I just have my wife handle, everything goes to my wife. She'll figure it out, right? But what if me and her passed away? Now that starts to get, something happened. That starts to get more convoluted. Like, we don't even currently have anything like, where do the kids go? Who gets the kids? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that stuff should kind of be spelled out. So I'm thinking about really kind of sitting down and getting all, as we said, my affairs in order. I think it's something would be smart to do.
Where do you think they would go right now if something were to happen to you and your wife?
Man, they'd probably go to her sister, but that might not be able to be a permanent situation. So that's a problem. Mm-hmm. They're older. I mean, they're 16. My son's 16. My daughter's about to be 13. Yeah. So it's not like they're babies, but still, they still have some youngin' things to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
I mean, yours is obvious. If it's you, the likelihood of you and something happened to your ex aren't great because you're not together anymore.
Yeah.
So the odds of that happening at the same time aren't great. But so for you, it would just be, your ex has your son. I mean, she kind of has your son half the time anyway. So there you go, right? Really, case closed there. There's no question for you.
Mm-hmm. But it's definitely something to think about, and you should definitely get looking into your final affairs. Not final affairs, but your affairs in order as far as a will and all that. Now, what about as far as your final affairs, like funeral expenses and something?
I have a life.
That shit's expensive.
I have a life insurance policy for anything that's financial. That's fairly hefty.
Because it's fucking expensive. You ever had to pay for a funeral?
I haven't had to pay for a funeral, but I know. I mean, for even a decent one, we're talking a minimum of like $10,000.
Well, are you talking about a coffin?
Yeah,
kind of a thing. Because
coffin. Forget it. I don't even think
that.
If you're going to do the coffin, you can even get into $10,000 range. You're talking like more than that now.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
talking if you did cremation, you do a service, you do all that. I mean, what is it, like $5,000-$10,000, something like that?
Yeah, like with my mother, we did a cremation and we did just a little block plot thing, and the service ended up costing my sister like $5,000-$6,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're not going to get out of there for less than that.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And they make it like sound like they all care about your loved ones. No, they care about taking your freaking money. That's what they care about.
And then what pissed me off too is that like when they do that little plot thing, temporarily before they engrave the plot, just so they can get it out there, they put like this sticker on it that says the info and stuff on there. And then, we put this on there now, and then we'll eventually get out there and we'll do the engraving. But we just have this on there now, just for now. And we're like, okay, cool. And they're like, well, how long will it take to get there? Oh, just like a couple of weeks. And we're like, all right, cool. It was fucking a year later, and still the sticker was on there.
Oh, that's slacking right there. I'd be pissed.
And then so I think my sister called and was raised hell, like, what the fuck? And blah, blah, blah. Oh, sorry, we had a problem. Like our engraver left, and then we had to bring in a new person. And blah, blah, blah.
That's funny how it's engraver.
That's kind of I never thought about that.
Interesting that word engrave is part of that.
And then after she raised hell, they probably, we're going to get to it this weekend. I promise it'll get done. Fuck no. Another several months went by. And then I think Jimmy had gone out there, and then he was like, still a sticker. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So then I jumped on there and I was like, if this fucking thing isn't done by this weekend, I told him, I was like, pretend it's your mother, and they're like, and she was like, couldn't have been more apologetic. And she's like, I promise you, it will get done tomorrow. I guarantee it. I promise you. All right. And they finally got it done. But
4 years
God,
old.
that was pissing me off. If they hadn't done it again within another month, I was going to go to the media and just be like, this is bullshit.
I was like, what are you going to do? I would just like go dig up the remains and just take them. But that's the thing, is they kind of got you by the balls there.
Well, not really. My mom's ashes were in that little plot thing.
Oh, okay.
So I can just snatch it and go.
Gotcha.
I'm taking her somewhere else.
I'm just going to take her somewhere else. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, all right. I mean, my voice has been cracking for days.
Hey, how's puberty going for you, dude?
It's going good. You hit second puberty at 41. I know she hit second puberty at 41. It's fun.
Can you get a second? What happens in second puberty? You go backwards? Like Benjamin Buttons?
You don't go backwards, but you get ignored by girls just as often. So.
Well, that never really stopped for me. All right. And speaking of going backwards, we're going to actually talk about that a little bit on the next segment.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back.
Village Idiot Pub. You locals know about it. You guys from out of town have to check them out.
Village Idiot Pub is proud to sponsor Your 40 Now What podcast.
Tack and Ron from Your 40 Now What seem to have found a perfect sponsor. A pub with over 30 beers on tap, including ciders, as well as hundreds of bottle choices.
You forgot my favorite, all the delicious wine. So get your friends together and enjoy the board games, puzzles, and the giant Jenga.
Let the owner Jason, as well as the rest of the staff there, take excellent care of your beer drinking needs. Tuesday is open mic, Wednesday is trivia, Thursday is karaoke, Friday and Saturday night are live music.
Visit them at 4 Harrison Street, Suite 103, Cocoa, Florida, or Village Idiot Pub on Facebook. And don't forget, they are a dog-friendly location, so bring your friends, family, and fur babies.
All right, welcome back from another fantastical break. And this last segment, we are going to be talking about if you're maybe in like a rut, kind of going backwards a bit. As your life progresses, you're supposed to, in your 20s, you're supposed to be doing this, and your 30s that, and 40s this, 50s that, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes you kind of hit a wall, and maybe don't just stop progressing. You start going backwards a bit. So I'll kind of tell you a bit about my situation is... me and my wife financially, it was going, good, but it's like she was working nonstop at the bank, just ridiculous hours. And
so it's not banker hours?
Her. What?
It wasn't banker hours?
No, but it's banker hours ain't like banker hours anymore. It ain't 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. That's for damn sure. These banks are open longer. They're open on Saturdays. Some banks are open on Sundays. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it was just not really working out for us. It was supposed to be a part-time job kind of thing. And so we decided she'd go into real estate. But of course, to do that, it's kind of like a start over thing, obviously, in doing real estate. And then my job, it was good money, but I was driving 5 freaking, like I should say 70 miles one way for 5 years.
That's crazy.
I just couldn't do it anymore. So I transferred to a closer store, but I had to take a lesser position. And just in my life, in my situation right now, kind of financially, I'm like going backwards a little bit. And it's a little frustrating. You know what I mean? It's a little frustrating right now. It's like you're in your 40s and you're starting to go backwards. It's not, and everything has ebbs and flows. So this too will pass and something will happen and it'll kind of get going the other way again, I'm sure. I just believe that. But you can never see it, the end of it, when you're in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just kind of sucks. It's kind of tough, but I know that I'm not the only one that this has happened to. And the progression of life isn't always one just steady pace up a flat hill, but there's always ups and downs. And this is just as far as now it's kind of better for life because, I'm not driving, my God, however many hours a week I was driving and all that. So that's good. And she has a much more flexible schedule with the kids. And we've been able to get Chelsea in a school that is more of a charter school. So she has to pick her up and drop her off. But this allows her the flexibility to do that. So there are so many benefits of it. But financially, not so great. Not so great right now. Right. So I don't know if you can relate at all to that or...
Absolutely. Well, I'm 41 years old and I live in an apartment and live paycheck to paycheck. So I have nothing to show for anything. So that whole will thing, I got nothing on it.
It's just a blank piece of paper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like there was a time, sure, where I used to own a house, but I lost it in foreclosure, back when everybody was losing homes in foreclosure like 7 years ago.
Oh, yeah. During what is actually called, and I did not know that till today, was called the Great Recession.
Well, I know it's called a recession.
It's actually referred to as the Great Recession.
Right. They didn't want to call it depression because that word is kind of taboo. So
yeah, I guess. Negative. And I don't know what they qualify. Well, not to get off subject, I don't know what they qualify as depression versus recession, but it is officially now called the Great Recession.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I'm sure I could probably be more successful possibly, but I just don't know in what. I'm too artsy and bullheaded to go and work that grind at a career that I hate because I think happiness is more important.
That sounds
than
very
money.
millennial-ish right here. What is what I'm hearing from you? Oh yeah, that doesn't sound Gen X at all. This sounds the millennials. They're having their stamp on you, buddy. They're trying to recruit you, and it sounds like you might be ready to join. No, I'm just kidding.
But I've always been that way. You know, like, I think happiness is the most important thing. And if you're working that job making good money, but you're fucking miserable, I mean, like, you just did it yourself. You know, you were miserable in that job making much better money, but your happiness is more important than your health. And I find that to be so important. Like, yeah, I can work a job where I'm working hard, bust my ass, but I hate it. Like, you know, you can't work a job that you hate. You just can't. So
not for a super long. There's only so much time you can put into that before it literally sucks. It just eats your soul.
Yeah, and I've worked that job. Once you get to the point where you start stressing the night before, I got to go to work tomorrow. It's time to look for something else. Like, I don't like being like that. I've had jobs where I love my job, and I like going to work, and I don't. If I have to work tomorrow, cool, awesome. If I'm off, awesome. You know, it didn't matter to me, and I've had those jobs. And I loved having those jobs where it's stress-free and there's no problems and you're making okay money and that's what I like. And also, I'm very artsy, so I have tons of projects going on at once. And, you know, whether it's film work here or podcast there or cartoon stuff here or whatever, music production, whatever. I'm too artsy to like be stuck in that corporate grind or whatever. Or, yeah, I probably could have done something and probably made a lot of money, like a lot of my friends or our peers have done, you know, the people we went to school with that are making $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm not built for that. I mean, yeah, I'd like to, and I'd like to take my art stuff to that level where I can make that kind of money, but that's much harder to do and accomplish. But my brain isn't made for that, like, scholastic kind of career or whatever, you know.
Understood. Yeah.
Does that make sense at all?
No, it makes total sense.
So it's kind of like my fault that I'm in this situation, but I always feel like, well, something's going to take off. I'm just waiting for it to do it, but I don't mind putting in the hard work for my art stuff, you know.
When you say art stuff, just expand upon our listeners what you mean by that.
Like what specifically?
Yeah.
Oh, like my projects and stuff?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously we have this podcast. Mm-hmm. I also have 2 other podcasts I do as well with another mutual friend of ours, Adam.
Which is, by the way, those are going like ridiculously phenomenal, right?
Yeah, they are. They're definitely going in an upward direction.
I would say so for sure.
Better. Huh?
I would say so for sure.
Oh, yeah. And so those are doing really well. And with that, me and Adam started Dichotomy Media, which is like the parent company to this show. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a parent company, but it's hard to explain. But so with Dichotomy Media and the podcasts, and alongside though, I also do the Get Out Penny cartoons as well, which I'm falling behind on the next episode. And some music production stuff that I do on the side, along with like any kind of film work or freelance work or editing or anything that I can do on the side as well. I just feel like something has to take off. I mean, it can't not if that's all you're doing is working on it. So I feel like I'm hoping that something's going to take off in my passions, you know, that will help. And so that's just my brain. And I don't know. I complain about it, but I'm sure I'm just doing it to myself. So, but you know, I think just happiness overall is more important than money, even though I bitch about not having any money.
Yeah, it's true. It's like you can have money, but if you're not happy the way you're getting the money, it doesn't make you any happier. It's just replacing stresses. That's all you're doing. Yeah. You're replacing one stress with another stress. Now, people could say, well, you've never not had money. Oh, brother, I've not had money. Let me tell you. So no one can say that, oh, I don't know what that's like. Trust me, I've had to make ends meet on some bullshit money. You know what I mean? With a family. I've been there.
I remember.
And I know that it's just replacing stress, depending on how you're earning that money. Now, everybody wants to have the job they love, making great money. And many people have that, but many, many, many people do not have that. They're working jobs they don't like for the money they're making, and they're miserable. And then so you decide to make a change. You're making less money. And now you're not miserable, but then on the other hand, you're stressed out about the money. You're stressed out either way. You're just trading out stresses. An old one for a new one. That's pretty much what I think a lot of people are doing. So even the people who are okay financially, they're probably stressed out about their job, their business, what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just the middle class grind.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's ebbs and flows to it. It goes up and down, and it just depends, and it changes here and there. It just does. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person, or you're not successful, I should say. It doesn't mean you're not a successful person in life because that happens, or because it hasn't really hit for you yet, or whatever it is. But it just happens. It's just the way it is for majority of middle-class folk, such as ourselves.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age, in this new world where just finding that job and working the steady, and it's just not as accessible as it used to be. Not like it used to be. Technology has changed so much, and the workforce, or what the job market is still adjusting to technology. It hasn't come back yet, we haven't really figured this out. The government hasn't figured it out. The businesses haven't really figured it out. No one's really figured out how it all fits in and how we as middle class people are supposed to, work around this. So everybody's kind of got their normal thing, and then there's something on the side, whether that's a second job or whether that's a hobby they're trying to make a career. It's like so many people kind of have that going on. Now, there are some people that are just willing to make minimum wage and figure out how to make it work and always just not have money nonstop. Now, I can't be that. I always got to be doing something different, better than that. For me, that's just not an acceptable way for me. But many people, they're used to living in that lower middle class to maybe even upper lower class world. Now, that's the world I don't really want to be in. Doesn't mean that they're a bad person for being in it. They may be more happy than I am, but that's just not where I ever want to be. But in that regular old middle class, that's just where we are, brother. That's where we'll probably likely always be, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, you were kind of saying it too, and that's kind of how I feel like where I'm at in life. I sometimes feel kind of like a failure,
Why? Because you haven't made a lot of money? Because you don't have like a bona fide career? I mean, doesn't make you a failure. Right.
I mean, well, because I feel like I can't provide for my kids with the things that they want or need, always. They always kind of have to settle for nothing or something way later in life than when they originally wanted something or needed something,
I'd say, your kids are provided for, man. They got food. They're going to school. They're living a normal kid life. They really are. You may feel that way in yourself because that's just your own guilt, but you don't really have a reason to be that way.
Yeah, we don't live in poverty for sure.
No, exactly.
They had to have a roof over their head. It's not like we're homeless or anything living out of my car.
You give them love, you give them attention, you give them direction. Yeah. All that stuff is part of it too. That's the stuff that there's tons of kids that their family have tons of money. They have no direction, they have no attention, they have no love, and they're worse off for it than the ones that have way less money, but are getting actual parenting, actual direction. So that all plays into it too. It's all part of it.
I do provide the necessities for them, like devices and Wi-Fi. So
yeah, that's definitely they're Generation Z. They're not even millennials. Oh, your daughters might be still millennials.
I think they are millennials.
But your son is and my kids are Generation Z.
They don't want to be considered millennials. One of them was almost practically in tears because she found out she was a millennial. And I was like, sorry, you're a millennial, and I don't mean to offend you by saying that word. I know you may not identify as a millennial, but in fact you are a millennial, and I really had to walk on eggshells around her. So
nice. Well, that would be a very millennial reaction. I also didn't mean to call
you guys when I refer to you because I understand that you are women. So, or at least you identify.
That's a typical millennial reaction too, to not wanting to be a millennial. That sounds about right.
How ironic.
Yes. All right, man. Anything else you got?
No, I'm going to go swallow a bullet now. And no, I'm just kidding.
Just swallowing the bullet probably won't really kill you.
Oh, yeah.
You got to put it in the gun.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Might just affect your poopy for a couple days.
Ewees. Gross.
I'm shitting bullets over here.
What, are you nervous about something? No, I mean, literally.
I'm literally shitting bullets.
All right. Well, if you want to follow us on Twitter, we are at I almost said the Twisted 10. Fuck. I do this all the time on the other show, too. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we are at Your 40 Now What, and that's the number 40. 40 Now What.
What? Facebook, same thing. Your 40 Now What, the number. Also, you can find us on the Dichotomy, I can't talk, Media YouTube channel.
Indeed.
Where we're simulcasting there as well. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play. Are we on Stitcher?
Yeah, we're on
Stitcher. I'm sure we're on Pod Addicts because we're on iTunes because they feed off that. And I'm sure there's as the older the show gets, the more and more podcatchers just kind of pick it up automatically. So just about however you grab your podcasts, you can now find Your 40 Now What.
Indeed, and I might switch us over to iHeartRadio as well here pretty soon. So
switch us over from something, or just add us to? You mean?
I'm sorry, yeah, add us to iHeartRadio as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
And you can also email the show at your40nowwhat@gmail.com. And head over to that Dichotomy Media LLC podcast YouTube channel. Check out the other shows as well. We have Living Vicariously. We have the Twisted 10, which is a nice little top 10 list show.
Doing very well with that show.
Yeah, show's doing pretty good. We got a lot of good guests coming up, and we've had some really amazing guests as well. So check those out, and please do a subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes for this show, Your 40 Now What. Just like Adam said about the other shows, reviews and all that and stars are like podcast currency. It only helps us grow.
Nice.
I think that's it.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll be back soon.
And we're going to work on trying to get this more of a weekly show. So
yes.
We've been kind of slacking lately. So, all right. For Your 40 Now What, I'm Tach.
I'm Ron.
And we will talk to you next week. Don't you go dying on me.
Don't you go dying on me. Nice. Later.